Hello, thanks for joining me today. This is Danny, and welcome back to my Forgecraft world on the DarkForgecraft server. Today we are going to be doing some power gen with Immersive Engineering, something I've been wanting to do since I started playing on this server. Immersive Engineering is one of those mods that I was kind of excited about when we started playing here. Of course, now it's in the FTP Infinity mod pack as well, but that's okay. Because here I actually have some use for it because I need some power gen, whereas in my FTP Infinity world I'm already generating a ton of power. So I've already made myself an engineer's hammer. I set up a bunch of coke bricks. There are 27. There's actually, it's a 3x3x3 square. It goes 3 deep into the wall, and then over here I have blast bricks in the same configuration, basically 3x3x3, and if we right click in the middle of that, we get our coke oven, and if we right click in the middle of this, we get our blast furnace. So the first thing we need to do is go into our coke oven. May as well dump some blocks of coal in there. Dump some coal in there, which it's going to convert to coal coke when it burns it. Why don't we put, let's just put regular coal in there, because the blocks will take a very, very long time. So this is going to make coal coke. It is also going to produce creosote oil, and these are both resources that we need. We're going to use the coal coke once we get some in our blast furnace in order to make steel. So we're going to throw iron in here along with some coal coke. In fact, I might as well grab some iron right away. Just throw a stack in there, and then as our coal coke is being produced, we'll throw it in here, and that will make steel. The creosote oil we're going to be using to make treated wood, and the steel we're going to be using, well, where steel is necessary. So there's two things that I want to do today. One of them is to make a windmill. We're going to make an advanced windmill, and we're going to put it way, way up on the top of this peak. Because the higher it is, the more efficient it will be, the more power it will generate. And then we're also going to make a watermill. And I'm thinking, actually I haven't quite decided where I want to put it yet, but I'm thinking if we want to just work with the natural resources that we have here, we could really put it here, kind of in the side of this hill, and let this water run down into the ocean. Alright, we got our first piece of coal coke. Yay! I'll just stick that in here. And then that guy's going to start making us some steel. We've got a little bit of creosote oil, so we're just going to stick some bottles in here, and it'll come out creosote bottles. Some regular old glass bottles, which we don't have any of, so we're going to make some. Let's see, glass. Oops. Just put those right there. And as soon as there's enough creosote oil to fill up a glass bottle, it'll fill it up, and then it'll come down here as a bottle of creosote oil. Just put a couple item conduits. We can actually just go like that. Oops. Like that and that. Tell this guy to extract, always active, and tell this guy to insert. So whenever it produces coal coke, it'll just drop it right in here. So here's what we're going to be making. I've already made 2 Kinetic Dynamos. I was actually able to make those without these resources, so I just made those right away before we started recording today. And those are going to be used both. We're going to use one of those for a windmill and the other for a watermill. We actually might end up making more of these, but for now we're just going to make one of each just so that we can experience the process of building these together. And then I might make a few extras off camera in the end, and then we'll see how they all perform together in the end. But we're going to make an improved windmill. And so basically we make this improved windmill thing and we attach it to a kinetic dynamo. And then the same thing with the water wheel. We make a water wheel and then we attach it to a kinetic dynamo. So the improved windmill is 8 of these improved windmill blades and a steel ingot. So that's why we needed the steel. And then the improved windmill blades, each one of these is a windmill blade and 4 of these tough fabrics. And the windmill blade needs treated wood planks, and the treated wood needs creosote oil. So that's where this creosote thing comes in. And of course, we've already seen where the steel comes in. And then I think we need creosote oil. I mean, I think we need treated wood for the windmill or the watermill as well. And then these tough fabrics are industrial hemp. Oh, that's right. I got to grow some of this industrial hemp. Does it? Oh, it doesn't have an exchange value. Darn it. Okay, so we'll have to grow that. And a stick. And then the water wheel is water wheel segments and then treated wood. So here again, we have treated sticks and more treated wood. So that's what all this stuff is going to be getting us. I'm not sure if I'm going to bother setting up auto crafting on this stuff. I did that in my FTP Infinity World. And I like totally overkilled it. I mean, I had a big tank of creosote oil, like a huge tank full of creosote oil, and I did all this auto crafting stuff using a bunch of machines and stuff. And it works really slick, but the thing is, you know, you make a few bottles of creosote oil and a few things of steel, and you're pretty much done with these machines. I mean, it's not like these are things we're going to be using a lot. So I'm not going to bother with the auto crafting this time. But when that stuff is done, actually, ooh, I wonder if we have any hemp seeds. I might have to do a little. Oh, yep, we've got 3. We've got 3 hemp seeds. Okay, so I'm going to start a garden with industrial hemp seeds. Got a little hemp farm over here. That I got a bunch of hemp from it so far, but I still have quite a bit more that I need. So I need 24 of these tough fabrics, and each one needs 8 of these industrial hemp fibers. What did I say? 7. So I still need 28 more of these guys. But my watermill is ready. I've got a water wheel, and then of course we have the Kinetic Dynamo. So if we come over here, I'm just going to stick it over here where we already have water naturally. And we'll just kind of break this open and let the water flow down toward the ocean. That should be kind of neat. By the way, I have, since we last met, I got myself some traveler's gloves, and I upgraded it with haste, which this is a Tinker's Construct thing, and it's just made with leather. Traveler's gloves. It's just leather. I also made a traveler's belt, which is aluminum and leather, and a chest. And I made this knapsack, which requires 2 iron tough rods. So I had to do those in the smeltery, and then leather and either aluminum, brass, or gold. I just used gold. And what these guys do is the traveler's gloves basically allow me to break things with my hands. So even if I don't have a tool, I can break dirt pretty quickly. Certainly not as fast as my what's all this stuff? Food. Oh, Pam's Harvest Craft stuff. Certainly not as fast as I can with like my mattock, which is crazy fast. A peanut. That sounds delicious. But yeah, faster than I would normally be able to do with my bare hands, which is really nice because then I don't have to be switching tools all the time when I just need to break a couple pieces of and then we've also got this traveler's belt, which allows me to swap my hot bar out. So I can actually have 2 hot bars. So when I hit oh yeah. So it also brings up my waypoint thing, but you could see that when I did that, when I hit B, my hot bar is now empty. So I have another hot bar here that I can fill up with stuff, whatever. And then when I hit B again, it goes back to the other hotbar. So it's just basically another inventory, some more inventory space. And then this guy, this knapsack gives me this tab, which just gives me more inventory space. So just more room to dump stuff. Okay, so what we are going to want this water to do is flow around the watermill, or the water wheel rather. So if we stick the water wheel I'll clean up this mess afterwards, but let's say we put our kinetic dynamo here. And then we need to make some room here for the watermill. See, I've got my pickaxe, but I'm breaking I'm able to break dirt pretty easily without having to switch. Locked up the water for now, because just to make it a little easier. But we need I need a 5x5 space, so 2 blocks out from each corner. And then when I break this, you know what? I think I need to have a down one. Yeah, I need to have a down one. All right, we got it. It's turning. I put a capacitor bank in here just so that we could see how much we're producing. Right now we're only producing 18 RF per tick, but I need to think about what I can do to make this look a little cooler than this. There it is. I used the large limestone tile. Since I've been using limestone a lot around here, it seemed appropriate. And then we've got the water coming out here and flowing into the ocean. And we are generating 92 RF per tick. So that means we have optimized this thing. Each one of these things will produce 30 RF per tick. So we managed to get 92 out of it, so I guess we got a couple of extras. I kind of blocked this thing off pretty well, so we can't see much of what's going on here. But what I did is obviously I've got the water running over the top, and it's coming down on it at about the halfway point. And then of course it goes over the edge, and then I have this, and then I have it kind of stepping to underneath it to cause the water to flow back in this direction. And it flows all the way to the back of it, and then it comes out down here, and then I just stepped it down every, what is it, 6 blocks, 7 blocks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blocks, in order to keep the water flowing all the way out to the ocean. So there's our watermill, and we're producing 92 RF per tick. So I think we should be about ready to do our, oh yeah, look at this. Should be about ready to do our windmill now. I'm gonna grab all these. I think I'm gonna work a little bit more on making a cool looking structure for this, but let's just see how this looks. Oh, it's huge! Oh my gosh, look at that. Nice. Wow, I had no idea it was so big. Wow, okay. Yeah, we're definitely need a slightly more impressive structure for that, I think. I mean, of course it works fine, just like this. But we want it to look a little cooler than that. There we go. I gave it kind of a modern windmill look. Even though the actual windmill blades themselves don't really look very modern, but looks a little silly with that capacitor bank sitting up there. So there's our windmill, and it's producing, what, 20 some RF per tick? 27 RF per tick. So, and apparently it produces more in the rain. You would really need a lot of these things if you wanted to produce a decent amount of RF with windmills, but it's not about being practical, it's about having fun. By the way, I added some water buckets up here just to make it look like there's a source of water here, because it doesn't really make sense that you've got this little pool of water and it's feeding into this watermill and somehow infinitely supplying it with water. So I tried to make it look like there was a water source coming out of the mountain, you know, like a mountain spring or something, which would kind of make sense. These water mills are pretty cool. They look really neat. But as with most of the immersive engineering power gen, it's not particularly practical, but it looks cool. So the last thing I want to do before we end this is we might as well stick a lightning rod here. I mean, we're this high up. I mean, we might as well. Those lightning rods are pretty cool. I did one in my FTP Infinity world, and they generate quite a bit of power. And if you have a lot of storage, a lot of power storage, it's a pretty decent source of power. I made 9 lightning rod bases. These guys, we have to make 9 of them in order to make a lightning rod. That works because it's a multi-block structure. These guys are kind of expensive. They require, one of them requires an HV capacitor, a high voltage capacitor, which is a lead block, some treated wood, a block of redstone, and a bunch of steel. Steel, as you remember from the beginning, is the stuff we make here in this blast furnace. The blast furnace is really slow, but it turns out that refined iron is ore dictionaried with steel. So I actually just went ahead. I was sick of waiting for the blast furnace. I mean, seriously, I stumped a bunch of coal in here. I have the coal coke piped into my blast furnace. I had a bunch of iron sitting in here. I went and I did a bunch of other stuff while I was waiting, and I went and I visited however you pronounce it, Anzenama's new base. Anzenama. I visited his new base, and I was hanging out over there for quite a while, and I come back and I've got like half a stack of freaking steel. So I'm like, screw this. So I threw some iron and coal dust in my induction smelter, and boom, I had some refined iron. And what's cool about refined iron is it actually has an exchange value. So you can, if you have equivalent exchange, you just stick one in here, and then you can pull out as much as you want. So I now have refined iron in my equivalent exchange system, and I don't really have to use that anymore. So that's cool. We don't have to wait around for that stupid old slow thing. So yeah, now we can set up our lightning rod, and then wait for rain. And there's our beautiful windmill. I kind of like that. I think that's pretty cool looking. So we're already almost to the clouds here. I mean, we almost don't really even need to do much of a lightning rod here. We could just have a couple of steel posts. Might hook up a quantum bridge for just different places. Okay. Boom, 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 and then we get out our engineer's hammer, and we have to we click right in the middle. If we click here, nothing happens. Click here, nothing happens. You click right in the middle, boom, and then you've got a multi-block structure, and it is a lightning rod base. And then we actually make our lightning rod, which is just steel. Whoops, steel fences. And really, this is probably already high enough because we're already up so high. But let's, just for fun, let's go a little higher. Let's go about up to the clouds. And then we'll do some of this. Crap, I'm going to run out. I want 3 more. I've got one down here that I accidentally placed, so we can pick that one up. And then I need 1 more, but these things, you make them in sets of 16. So I don't really want to make 16 more just so that I can have a couple more. And really, this is probably going to be enough. But it looks silly like that. Darn it. I'm going to have to make more. I'm going to have to make 16 more of these guys just so that I can put 2 of them up there. There. Nice. And it's actually, oh no, it isn't in the clouds yet, but if we get a storm, there's no doubt this thing will get hit by lightning. Being up so high and then having the grid on the top. In my FTP Infinity world, it was probably about this high and about the same, except it was built further down, and every time we get a storm, it gets struck multiple times. So we're gonna have to get some high voltage connectors for this guy. Although we could actually just put Ender.io conduits on here as well. Let me think about that. I'll be right back. We've got it. I've got my power line set up over here, connecting our windmill power, which is producing like what, 20 some RF per tick, going into a tesseract on a post. I kind of like that. It looks a little silly and a little cool all at the same time. I have some medium voltage wiring. So we've got our medium voltage wire connectors on that end and on this end. And then I have a post in the middle. And then over here where we've got our lightning rod, you can put one connector on each of the 4 corners, and each one will give you 4096 RF per tick that it'll drain from this thing when it's full. So lightning strikes, this thing fills up right away with 16 million RF, and then it drains out. And the faster you drain it out, the better, because then when lightning strikes again, it's just going to top it off, because this thing can only hold 16 million RF. So the more quickly we get it out, the more RF we'll get during a lightning storm. So I've got all four connectors hooked up. So 4096 RF per tick times 4 is what we can get out of this thing until it's drained. And that is also going right into this tesseract. So we've got our high voltage wire connectors, 4 of them connected into our tesseract, and our tesseract of course is just set to Danny's base, and it is send only energy, and that's all it's doing. It's just sending energy back to our base down there, to our tesseract in our base, or wherever else we might be using power. We're also using power over here, so yeah, so we're done. We're done with our Immersive Engineering power gen. I may expand on this in the future, but I mean, the thing about Immersive Engineering power generation is it is definitely not the quickest way to generate power. I mean, this windmill was kind of a lot of work. I mean, not terribly amount of work, but kind of a lot of work considering the fact that it only gives you like 20 some RF per tick. This thing is actually probably one of your best power generation for the buck, although it is quite expensive. Oh yeah, it's a ton of steel because we had to make 9 of these things. So we had steel here, 9 blocks of lead, 18 treated woods, 9 blocks of redstone, plus more steel, plus 144 electrum wire coils. That's a lot of electrum. And electrum is it's an expensive alloy. Well, not really. I guess it's just gold and silver. So yeah, it's pretty pricey. And then we had to do all the steel. It was a lot of steel, which, like I said, I ended up just using refined iron because it's easier to make, faster. It's faster to make. Yeah, so here it is. Here's our power gen and our little tesseract. And then, of course, we have this guy over here. I really love this thing. This is so cool. I really like these watermills. Because you can build, I mean, I've seen so many cool builds. I've seen a lot of different people do some really cool builds with these watermills because they just look so cool. And it's kind of easy to make something that looks cool with them, you know? I mean, all this is limestone, but I really like the way the water flows and then it comes out the bottom like this. I really like the way that looks. And I may do more of these. I might set up a few of these at some point in the future, but you know, but even this, I mean, this is only like 92 RF per tick. And in here I just decided to throw a Tesseract just to keep it simple. Because trying to run power lines all the way over there through my Botania garden and stuff, I don't want that. That would look a little too messy, but I kind of like the way it looks up there. So now if we look at the front of our house, we can see that in the background we've got our lightning rod and our windmill and our wiring going across the middle. It's been a long time, but this actually took me quite a while to set all this stuff up. Of course I had a lot of distractions today. Had a lot of other stuff going on. It's pretty late at night now, and I'm ready for bed. And I'm actually doing waiting for some auto crafting right now. I'm auto crafting a bunch of vibrant capacitor banks so that we can increase our energy storage. Especially since we have that lightning rod up there, we're getting bursts of RF from lightning, so it's nice. It's good to have a large bank to store all that stuff in. Next time, I'm not really sure what we're gonna do next time yet. I have to think about it because there's a few different things I want to do, and we're definitely not doing things the normal way in this series because that's what Forgecraft is all about. It's about trying new and different things. And I'm gonna look into some of our familiar mods and see if we have some changes that we can play around with. It seems that there are some things in Thaumcraft that I have not seen in Infinity, so I'm going to take a peek at that and see if that's interesting enough and different enough to be worthwhile for us to go through the whole Thaumcraft here. I mean, because we have equivalent exchange, a lot of the other stuff that we would normally do, we don't really have to do because our resources... I mean, we don't really have to do much in the way of resource gathering or resource securing, because once we get one of anything, we've already got everything we need. So we don't have to worry too much about that. So I think, yeah, we'll see. Next time we'll either play with something we've never played with before, or we might do a little building to make our base a little bit more interesting, because we haven't really done any building around here lately, and I've been doing a lot of stuff just kind of outside, and maybe we'll work on the interior of the house, see if we can find something new and interesting to do there. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, if you have any ideas, or if you have any questions, or things you want me to cover, or learn about, or that you want to learn about, or whatever, or anything, whatever. If you got anything to say, man, let me know. Let me know in the comments section below. So thanks for watching, and I hope you join me next time. Bye-bye.